One of the most important things about owning investment properties is finding good quality tenants to put in the property. Tenants are going to pay their rent every month and take care of the property. Well, that means you have to have a process to process the applicants as they come in. What's a good credit score? What's a bad credit score? What things should I look at? Well, one of the most important things you can actually look at is the credit score. I want to share with you a very unique and important statistic that was recently released. This is out by TransUnion. Now, TransUnion analyzed literally millions of data points for tenants. What they did is they looked at their income and they compared that to their credit score, and they came up with this graph or this chart to show you eviction rates. Again, this is millions of data points coming in depending on the credit score individuals had, and they're correlating that with their income. What this is telling us is that if a tenant has a credit score of 599 or less, irrelevant of how much money they make on a monthly basis, TransUnion has seen anywhere from 4 to 5.5% of these people evicted. They have evictions served on them. That's a pretty high number. That tells you what? That tells you if they've got a credit score of 599 or less, you got a 5% chance you're going to end up evicting that tenant. Now, in my mind, 5% is way too high. Well, what if we drop that to 600 to 699 credit score? Again, look at their income on the far side, but you have to have anywhere from 1/2 to 2% chance of evicting those clients if they fall within a credit score of 600 to 699. That's much more reasonable that way. The higher credit score, obviously, the lower the eviction rate. But this information that TransUnion presents in and of itself is very valuable. Now, you don't want to look only at this. You want to take into some other things into consideration too. And this is what you can do if you're doing a proper and deep background check, as you should be doing on everybody that applies to rent your property. A couple things you should look at. Number one, do an eviction check. Has a tenant ever been evicted? If so, don't give them a chance to do it again. Don't give them another chance to get evicted from us. Number two, criminal history check. Look at the tenant's criminal history. Now, HUD has some guidance around this. For example, HUD says you may not say no criminals across the board or else you're potentially discriminating. And it gets tricky. It's a fine line to walk, but HUD does have guidance on this. But you want to do a criminal background check on every applicant. Number three, a sex offender check. If the individual is a registered sex offender, you need to be checking for that. And you need to have to do that specifically through a specific type of search to find out. And the last thing, which is a very, very important thing that sometimes people don't take into consideration, is the length of their prior tenancy. See, what you're looking for is a long-term quality tenant. The biggest expense you face as a landlord is turnover. If you can get a tenant in place who's going to stay for a long period of time, a long length of tenancy, and has a history of that in the past, that's a very valuable tenant for you. Our record is 20 years. We had one tenant in one property for 20 years. Think about that. They literally mostly paid off the mortgage of that landlord owner. Pretty cool. It's pretty rare to happen, but those things do happen. That's the goal. That's what you're searching for. That's what you're trying to get. If you've got questions on this, on how to process tenants, give us a call. White Robins Property Management. We'd be happy to help you.